Hello guys, Bud here with Dependable Lawn Care, and today I'm going to be sharpening my hedge trimmer blades. I've got a residential hedge trimming job to do, so I'm up early to get these all shaped up and ready to go. I've got my Echo HC 152, my Ryobi expanded hedge trimming attachment that goes on my Husqvarna, and I've got my tools here. I'm going to do a close-up on the blades here in just a second and show you why I need to sharpen them. But I've got a clamp, just a 3-inch C clamp, so I can clamp my hedge trimmers down. This it's a little bit bigger than a flat chainsaw file, but it's just a fine tooth metal file or metal rasp, and then some WD-40 so that I can clean and lube everything up when I'm done. But we did a big hedge cleanup job not too long ago, and I was using these pretty hard, running them. I think that job took us about 7 hours. And so as you can see on the edge of the teeth are curled up just slightly. You can kind of see that right along the edge, right along the very edge of the bit or the tooth. And all I'm really doing is just knocking that little bit of a burr off and getting everything cleaned up, and then I'll, like I said, lube it up with the WD-40, be ready to go again. This is a really nice hedge trimmer. The thing works fantastic, and really the only advantage to the expanded tool is that I can reach higher, and I can scape the top of the hedges really nice with it off of a ladder. So, but it's got different teeth, and of course, you know, it's a much cheaper hedge trimmer, but it's brand new, and even after using a little bit, the factory paint is still on the teeth. So when I sharpen it, basically all I'm going to be doing is knocking the paint off and just touching up the edge on it a little bit. I'm not gonna do too much on it. It's mainly the Echo that needs to be sharpened. And to be fair to the Echo, that job wasn't necessarily what dulled it up. I've had this set of hedge trimmers for I think 3 years now, and I do the same couple of hedge trimming jobs every year. You know, they're not major, they take a couple hours, and I've never sharpened it, so it's long overdue anyway. But anyway, get the camera set up here, and I know you can do this with a grinder, with a flap disc, or you can use a die grinder, you know, air powered with a little sanding disc. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but kind of like, in my mind, it's kind of like a chainsaw chain. I don't like the idea of taking a power tool to something like this, especially when I can have it knocked out in, you know, 10 or 15 minutes with a hand file, and it's not laborious. It's just a few drags over each tooth. And of course, you know, you have both sides of the tooth on the top, so on both sides all the way down, you know, both sides of the tooth. Then you have to flip it over and do the same thing on the bottom side. See if I can show you that. There we go. So the bottom teeth have to be done as well. So there's a little bit to it. There's a lot of surface area. Now this other one only has the top of the teeth on that side, and then you flip it over and the top of the teeth on the other side. So it has half of the half of the surface as far as sharpening goes. So anyway, I'll get set up and we'll get to sharpening. ran it until I got the teeth separated. So now there's a gap in between all of the teeth so that I can get to that tooth individually. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to stick with the angle of the tooth. So you find that angle, and I'm going to go through and get one side, and then I'll go back and get the other side. See, you're not doing much, you're just taking that burr off. You're just freshening up the tooth is all you're doing. Don't want to take a lot of material off. Just for reference, if you're doing this yourself, 10 millimeter is what size those are. Now this bolt is threaded, so I'm going to leave it just like it is. There's no reason to take the bolt out because I'm going to put the guards back on as soon as I'm done. I just want to take the top nut off and get the guard out of my way. So there's a little washer on here. You want to make sure you don't lose that or any of your other parts. And you also want to pay attention to how much tension is on each of these nuts. I mean, they're basically, they're a lock nut or a vinyl lock nut, and they basically just go down until they make contact with the washer. So they're not tightened down, so to speak. They're just ran down until they make contact with the washer to keep things nice and snug, but not so tight that the blades can't move back and forth, of course. Okay, follow those off. I'll pull my guard off just like that. And you see, I'm not taking the whole blade system apart or anything like that. I'm just pulling that guard off. And that's going to allow me to get to all of my blade tips without modifying anything or changing anything. So now I can finish touching each one of these up. That aluminum guard was just getting in the way of being able to have access to all of them. One side's all done. Now I'm going to take my WD-40. I'm going to spray it down real good. And then I'm going to take my rag and wipe it down real good because I want to get rid of any foreign debris, metal shavings, anything like that. You're going to have those small filings from sharpening. So you want to make sure that you wipe off each tooth and get rid of all of that. You don't want that stuff staying in there and causing friction and causing your teeth to dull up as soon as you start using it. So I'm going to flip it over, do the other side, and then I'll spray it down really good again, wipe it down, spray it down again just to make sure that I have everything rinsed off. So flip it over here. Then you see you've got the back side of all of those same teeth. So just go ahead while this is up close and get a couple of these. So here's what I'm doing. Just laying the file in there at the angle of the tooth. And like I said, you don't want to make contact with the other tooth, so just be careful to sharpen the tooth that you're aiming for. And this is probably the reason why some people choose to take them all apart. Like I said, for me, I just don't like that idea. But to each his own. That's why there are as many videos as there are on this type of thing, because everyone does it differently. That's all sharpened up good. Let's spray it down again with the WD. And again, I'm just kind of rinsing this off. Spray that on liberally and then wipe everything off. And I'm just kind of taking the rag and grabbing the teeth like this and pulling out so that I can take any kind of filings or debris that's on those teeth and just pull it right off. Pull it away from the center, because that's where your movement is at, or your friction, I guess, is in the middle, where the two plates, top teeth and the bottom teeth, slide against each other. So I want to make sure I don't have any kind of metal filings down in there. Okay. And I'll wipe the rest of it down real good, flip it over. Actually, I'm just going to spray a light coat of this on this surface now. Okay, now I can flip it over. Spray it on this side, and I'll put my guards back on. Okay, set those back on. Now these nuts are threaded from the bottom, and they just basically run in until they make contact. You don't want them tight, they just make contact. So I want to make sure that that's where I set them back to. So I'll get all my nuts started. And again, the nuts, same thing. They just run down until they make contact, and then you stop. And after I get this all put back together, I'll start it up and run it. Make sure that it's running freely, but not sloppily. And these are 10mm, if I didn't mention that already. Everything's back together. Start it up and check it out. Everything's running smoothly, but it doesn't chatter, so I know I don't have too much play. And that one's good to go. Time to move on to the other one. Here's my Ryobi expanded attachment. Get it clamped down. This one, like I said, the teeth are different. It has a set of teeth on the top on this side, and then a set of teeth on the top on opposite side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch these teeth that are hanging over. So on these hedge trimmers, the expanded type, if you take a pair of needle nose and you put your needle nose pliers on the shaft, I don't know if you can see that, but you just turn that one direction or the other, and that moves your teeth. So that you can get your teeth lined up where you need them to sharpen. Now I'm going to flip this over and go ahead and get the other side.